Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So this is my first video and I just went to a really powerful 3-day event put on by Aaron Doughty. It's called the Shift Experience. I will put a link to his YouTube channel in the description box below. I really love his videos. I love his guided meditations. So if you haven't checked him out, I highly recommend you do. I'm sure he'll do another Shift Experience. So hopefully if you haven't gone, you can attend the next one. I would just stay on the lookout for that. But I wanted to jump on and just talk about some really cool things that I pulled from the event. And I'm going to be doing a couple videos on some things that I experienced as I went through the Shift Experience. But the first thing that I wanted to discuss was really powerful. During the group's sessions, we were split off into groups. So we had sessions where we would come together with just our group. So it was a group of, I would say, about 7 people. So I think and it's completely random, but nothing is random, right? It was a group of 3 women. I was one of 3, and then 4 men. So it was more male than female energy in the group. I had the other 2 females. One of them had endured some really extreme trauma from childhood and really throughout her life. And I'm not going to go into detail, but it was something no woman should have to endure ever in their life. And then the other woman essentially had a similar experience in childhood. So both of these beautiful women had went through things that, like I said, no woman should have to go through. Well, as we're kind of going through this process, one of the activities in the group, really was focused on healing. So, in order to sort of shift out of this person that you've predominantly been into a new, more expansive version of yourself, you must heal what is present, right? What from the past is holding you back in order to be able to move forward. So a lot of the conversations in the group were, especially day 2, were around healing. So of course she was sharing her experiences of trauma because those were the main things that she needed to heal from. And in expressing her trauma, of course, anger came up. She was upset, and rightly so. I think anytime we go through this process of healing, it's also a grieving process, right? So we're experiencing pain, we're experiencing hurt, we're experiencing sadness, we're experiencing anger. So these are normal emotions that arise. And I noticed after the first day, second day, that the men were right away, after she would express her emotion, they were right away jumping in with advice and jumping in with guidance. And it's not that the advice and guidance was not good advice or was not good guidance or was not truth, but she wasn't receiving it because there was not an acknowledgement of her feelings. It was like, here I am, I'm pouring my heart out to you. I'm crying. And now I'm getting like a simple answer, right? That's not what I want. Maybe that's part of what I want, but as a woman, that's not what we want. And then I noticed the next day it happened again with the other woman. She expressed her emotions, and right away the gentleman came in with advice and with guidance. And like I said, not bad advice, not bad guidance. Most of the time, like, the men were saying the correct thing. They were hitting the nail right on the head. But now this time, this woman became angry. She became irritated. She became defensive. And so I finally stepped in and I said, look, you guys, your advice, well, it's well-intended and great advice. First, there needs to be acknowledgement of the women's feelings. So when a woman comes to you and says, this is how I'm feeling, and she verbally expresses herself, you just need to hold a space as a man. You just need to listen to what she's saying. I would say acknowledge her feelings with a reassuring touch, because it is scary to express feelings. It is scary to express emotions, because oftentimes our emotions they're invalidated. They're not validated. They're not acknowledged. They're not seen as beneficial. And so a lot of times I think women, to keep the peace, don't express their emotions. They don't express how they're really feeling. And when a woman cannot express her emotions, and she can't be emotionally intimate with a man, she can't truly be physically intimate with that man. Maybe she could do the act of being physical with that man, but it won't ever be the type of intimacy it really truly should be between a man and a woman. So, I think physical touch, even when she's expressing that emotion, is very important. I think that provides a nonverbal reaffirmation of acknowledging her feelings, of I'm hearing you. So whether that's, a shoulder touch, or a rubbing of the back, or a hugging, or a holding hands, something of that nature. And then not only allowing her to verbally express the emotions, but to physically express her emotions. So whether that be through crying, or maybe she's angry. When a woman is expressing her emotions, now is not the time to take things personally, even if her emotions are about you. Now is the time to listen and to put your ego aside. Now is not the time to become defensive or to state your case. Maybe at a later time that's appropriate, but right now, when the emotion is being expressed, is not the time. So I think that needs to happen first. And then women, we're so intuitive that ultimately we know what we need. We know what should be done. But sometimes we just want someone to hear it. We just want someone to acknowledge it. We just want someone to almost, if they're listening, they're giving us that reaffirmation of what we already know to be true inside of us. So if a woman is given the space to have that, then the next day or the day after, you can kind of read her, right? You can see it on her, whether that emotion has been resolved. She's lighter, right? She's lighter, she's happier, she's more bubbly, she's more excited to give, right? To you or to the children or whatever, the family, whatever it may be. And then at that time, if you still feel it's necessary to provide guidance or provide advice or even state your feelings about it, you can read the room, you can read her and see if there is still a place to come together and talk about it. And then at that time, I think is the right time to do it. But there must first be the acknowledgement and the space being held for her to express herself. And I think that's the one thing that women have not been able to do, right, in this world. We really haven't been able to fully express ourselves, right? You can't, it's like, you need to go to work and you need to be masculine. You can't be sexy, right? But you need to come home, you need to be feminine, you need to be sexy. So everybody's constantly telling us when and how to express ourselves. And it's putting the female race in a box, and we're not meant to be in a box. Whereas men, they can just be men all the time, 24/7. Even in their sleep, they can just be men. So, I think it's super important in a relationship with a male and a female, and this doesn't have to be a heterosexual thing, right? It's whatever gender you identify with predominantly is where you would place yourself in this scenario. But I think anytime there's a relationship where you're being heard, you feel understood, then you feel supported, you feel encouraged. Well, now I can go out and I can be the best that I can be because I feel someone's got my back, someone's supporting me, someone's encouraging me, someone understands me, someone's listening to me, someone really hears me. And then too, I think if that woman feels heard, or that female or feminine energy feels heard, now we can move forward with solutions, right? If the feeling or the emotion is about the other person, now we can move forward in a solution because you've heard me. You've heard me, and now, because you've heard me, I'm gonna allow you to be heard, right? We're both hearing each other, and we're both attempting to understand each other. And that is really love, just the attempt to understand. And that is the support and encouragement that we each need to be better versions of ourselves and to heal, right? Because a lot of this stuff comes from childhood or past relationships where there was trauma. And if we have a partner who is patient, who's willing to listen, then we can grow. We can finally let go of those hurts and those wounds that have held us back. And because those hurts, they're pervasive, right? They're not just in the relationship. They're affecting every area of our lives. They're affecting our work life, and they're affecting our family life with our mothers and our fathers and our aunts and our uncles, right? Our friends. So we have to really realize that all these things have a ripple effect. You can't, unless you're happy and healed, you're just going to be pissed at everyone, right? Even the post office man, you're going to be pissed off at. So versus, I was with my partner and we had this amazing conversation last night, and he really listened to me and heard me, and I feel so supported. And tomorrow I go to the grocery store and I interact with the clerk, and I go to the gas station and I interact with the gas attendant, and I'm smiling at everyone because I'm happy. Inherently, I'm happy. And I'm not saying like necessarily a relationship will make you happy, but because we know that's not true. But what I'm saying is there's so many men and women in relationship, and so many times we don't even express ourselves or our emotions just to keep the peace or for the children. And I just think it's so damaging, and it has such a ripple effect. And I think if men and women can come together and understand each other a little bit more, then we can move forward towards healing and towards being in a better place, in better relationship with each other. So that's really what I had to say for this video. But it was very healing after I said that the last day of the event. One of the gentlemen actually came back to the group. He bought flowers for all the women in the group, and he specifically wrote a note to the one woman who was crying and very upset after he tried to give his advice. And it was so beautiful. She started to cry all over again. Like, you could just see how much it really touched her and how much she needed that. She needed someone to acknowledge her feelings. That's really all any woman needs, is just, I hear you, I see you, I feel you. It's so simple. But I can understand how doesn't seem so simple from a male logical point of view. But yeah, and then after the event, I left, and I hugged everyone, and she asked me, she said, "Did you put him up to that?" And I said, "No, absolutely not. He did that all on his own. I didn't." She's like, "You didn't talk to him yesterday after the event?" I said, no, not at all. So that just goes to show you too, like, she's never had a man acknowledge her feelings. She's never had a man come to her and say, "I hear you. I hear you, and I'm not here to give you advice. I'm just here to say that I hear you, that I feel you." So she couldn't even believe it. She thought another woman put him up to doing that. So it's just, it reaffirmed to me that not enough women get that. And not enough women believe that that could even exist, because they've gone so long without a man acknowledging their feelings. I think so many times, women, we go to other women, right? Because they're going to understand our feelings, because they have the same feelings, they have the same thoughts, they have the same emotions. So it's so surprising when a man understands and hears you. So I just thought that was really beautiful, and it was really beautiful to see and experience. And yeah, so that's really the essence of what I had to share in this video. And if you are struggling with anything like this in your relationships, hopefully you can take this video and either share it with your partner, or you can watch it together and, really kind of open up the dialogue to approaching each other and in this sort of way, and hopefully see if you can really begin to understand each other and hear each other better. So I hope that was helpful. I want to share, I'm going to make more videos too. That was really part of the reason that I went to the event. I really want to make more videos. I really want to share with you guys what I know, what I've learned just from my short life so far on this planet. But I think I really have some amazing insights to share. I've been on a so-called spiritual path for quite some time, and I'm just excited to share with you guys what I have, and just in hopes that it will provide some value and some help in your own life. So thank you so much if you've made it this far in the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.